So I just got assigned my final project in my seminar. And so my seminar is basically just a phone bad class. So we've been doing a lot of readings on how smartphones and social media are damaging to young people. And we were told in the very beginning of the class that our final project would be a debate. And I've been super excited about it all year because I've literally made video essays on the subject. I love talking about how phones are damaging and bad. What I didn't know about the final debate is that we didn't get to pick our perspectives on it. They were assigned to us. So the one that I was assigned to answer was access to smartphones in school undermines the education of middle school and high school students. Except I have to argue against that. So basically, I have to argue that phones in school are good. And I was told this, and at first I was just like, this is a losing argument. All of the data supports the other side. I'm just going to have to argue something I don't believe in. But that's my assignment, so I'm going to do it. And I started researching it, coming up with a line of reasoning. And the more I looked into it, the more it sort of changed my mind. I think that I'm starting to believe that this is the correct opinion. And I'm going to lay out why. So the most obvious counters, at least in my mind, are that number one, test scores are going down across the country, and that phones are a distraction to education. And so, although both of those are true, test scores are going down, but if we think about what that means a little bit more, test scores basically just measure memorization. And I don't feel like memorization holds as much value in today's society as it used to. You can memorize things all that you want, but if you learned something in school and you just sort of remembered that versus someone that is able to effectively search for information on a topic, the internet has more information than one could ever memorize just by themselves. So in today's society, which revolves around the internet, essentially, it becomes more useful to be able to search for things effectively than to just have some baseline memorized facts. Most schools today function as if the internet doesn't exist and still expect you to read textbooks and memorize vocab words and things like that. And although those do have a place, and it is important that students learn those to an extent, in the real world, you'll always be able to just look it up. One may see kids using the internet to look up answers for their homework as lazy, but isn't that how the real world works? Aren't they just sort of getting a head start on that? The other clear counter is that phones in school distract from education. And although that's definitely true, I would argue that learning the self-control not to go on your phone in class is an important skill to learn. It's a very clear cause and effect. If I go on my phone in class, my grades will go down. If I don't go on my phone in class, my grades will go up. And I think that that's a good way to teach kids that kind of thing, that kind of, if you make this decision, it will have a good outcome when it's so clear of a cause and effect. Because if you don't teach that, and you expect them to learn it themselves later on, it's going to become harder because they didn't really exercise it. I would argue that a lot of what you learn in school is like social skills, how to interact with a person of authority or how to resolve conflicts between peers. You learn a lot of things besides just the schoolwork when you're at school. So I would argue that this should be one of them as well. Do you see where I'm getting at? I feel like having phones in school is actually kind of a good thing. But I know those aren't the only two arguments against it. So that's why the video's titled what it is. I want you guys to argue with me. Because I thought that I was wrong. But now that I'm taking all of the things that I thought were easy, simple facts and refuting them a little bit, I'm becoming confident in the opposite. Convince me that I'm wrong. Give me something I can't counter. I will be in the comments countering everything put in there. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why phones shouldn't be allowed in class. Thanks.